Well, good morning. It's great to be back here in Watertown. And today marks 7 weeks to the day that the Attorney General Letitia James released her bombshell report proving that Andrew Cuomo lied and covered up nursing home deaths by 50% in New York State. It was bittersweet validation for what we've known to be true all along, that his horrific March 25th executive order sentenced thousands of New York seniors to their final death. Thousands of families never got a chance to say goodbye, and their lives were changed forever. And instead of showing remorse, Andrew Cuomo acted like a callous narcissist who is incapable of empathy or accountability. And things have only gotten worse since then. The governor is now facing multiple investigations into his deadly nursing home cover-up. And 7 different accusers of sexual harassment have come forward. You have his own chief of staff, Melissa DeRosa, on tape admitting to obstruction of justice. When that was revealed, I and many others called for this governor's impeachment. But since that point, 55% of New York State lawmakers have called for the governor's resignation or impeachment. Yet, what has the legislature actually done in this time to hold Andrew Cuomo accountable? They didn't repeal his emergency powers. They claimed they did. In fact, they extended them. Those emergency powers would have expired on April 30th, and now they go on indefinitely with the executive orders hanging over small businesses in many facets of our lives until the legislature has the courage to act on them. They haven't impeached him despite ample evidence that already exists. In the votes that exist today, if they pulled the articles onto the floor, they would pass and he would be removed from office. But now they've formed a sham impeachment investigation that insults the intelligence of 19 million New Yorkers. Assembly Speaker Carl Heastie is actively working to protect Andrew Cuomo. And he's either doing it to leverage his tax and spend wish list in this year's state budget, or he's simply doing this to protect Andrew Cuomo and hoping that Cuomo gets away with these things. Either way, it's unconscionable. And we're going to make sure that every single voter in this state knows exactly what's going on at their state capitol. Rather than just bring forth impeachment proceedings that would then face an up and down vote for removal in the Senate, Carl Heastie formed a sham judiciary commission to investigate the matter. When it was announced, I called that a dirty deal, and it's only more true a week later. We just learned that the law firm that's been selected to conduct this investigation's name is David Polk, and it has very deep ties to the Cuomo administration, and this should be deeply troubling to anyone that's observing and watching this situation. Its longtime partner, Dennis Glazer, is married to the Chief Justice of the Court of Appeals, Janet DeFiore, a very close Cuomo ally who has him to thank for her position. Now remember, Cuomo was trying to implement a classic tactic of conducting his own internal review of his own administration of the allegations. And he actually had tapped Janet DeFiore to investigate the matter for him. Janet DeFiore will also be one of the jurors deciding Cuomo's fate if impeachment articles make it to the New York State Senate. Dennis Glazer of David Polk was also appointed by Cuomo to serve on the casino site selection board, which was a very highly coveted position. And if the cozy ties between Cuomo and these lawyers investigating him wasn't enough, we now know that members of the Judiciary Committee, who are responsible for overseeing this investigation, had zero role in selecting these attorneys. This was a decision solely made by Assembly Speaker Carl Heastie without any input from the members of the Judiciary Committee. Carl Heastie is far too cozy with Andrew Cuomo to be leading any kind of investigation into him. This entire investigation process is a ruse designed to buy Andrew Cuomo time to hide in plain sight and take the playbook established by Virginia Governor Ralph Northam to get through a scandal and survive. But you don't need to take my word for it. The Anti-Sexual Harassment Working Group in Albany has also slammed this dirty deal coming out of the New York State Assembly. Cuomo's victims have spoken out too, and they're refusing to cooperate with this investigation. And the truth is, we don't need the Assembly to do another investigation. There's enough evidence to warrant an impeachment already. We have a 76-page report by the Attorney General of the state of New York. We have Cuomo's top aide admitting on a Zoom call with video that they withheld information from the Department of Justice. We have corroborating evidence from women accusing the governor of sexual harassment. And we have Cuomo on tape lying, briefing after briefing, lie after lie, over and over and over again. Andrew Cuomo is unfit to continue, and he is a danger to New Yorkers. And every day that New York Democrats in the legislature allow him to remain in power makes them guilty and complicit too. From Watertown to Western New York to the tip of Long Island, we are going to make sure voters know exactly what Democrats did to protect them from this megalomaniac governor. And the answer for most of them is absolutely nothing. We need to break up this corrupt cabal in Albany of self-interested Democrats, one-party rule that is destroying our state, bloating our budget, and mortgaging our future. They're more focused on protecting their own power, while taxpayers in New York are totally disrespected. There needs to be a taxpayer revolt in New York. And it's far time that we have a collective reckoning and awakening where people come together and say, enough is enough. It's way past time for common sense to make a comeback in the state of New York. And that will happen when we break up one-party rule by electing a Republican governor in 2022 who will put an agenda forward that liberates New York and puts New York State and its taxpayers as a priority and gets this state back on track.